he's well rehearsed. Vinny Method, give me a minute here to get to your introduction. We've all encountered situations in our lives where we've had to do something we're not entirely comfortable doing. Overcoming a fear can be very nerve-wracking and difficult. Our first speaker giving his icebreaker is no stranger to that. His name is Vinny. His friends call him Vegas, but not in front of his mother. Vinny Vegas Method. Facing your fears, Vinny Vegas Method.
Thank you, Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. I'd like to start with a little food for thought. Did you guys know that public speaking is the #1 fear of people? I know because it's mine. Number 2 amongst people is death. Now death, ladies and gentlemen, is number 2 on that list. So to quote one of my favorite comedians, Jerry Seinfeld, he said, "At a funeral, most people prefer to be in the casket than actually giving the eulogy." Now, just FYI, my second fear is heights. So my goal of one day maybe becoming the next pope probably won't happen, considering I have to give speeches on that high Vatican balcony to large groups of people below. But anyways, in all seriousness, when I was first approached to join Toastmasters, I had very mixed emotions. While I knew in the back of my head that it was a good opportunity to practice my public speaking skills and become a better leader, both personally and professionally, I couldn't help but feel overwhelmed by one emotion, and that was fear. Having not even gone up and given a speech yet, just the mere thought of it was enough to cause me mental anxiety and physical anguish. My hands would begin to shake, my palms would get sweaty, my gut would have that wrenching feeling in it, and worst of all, my heart would beat so hard and so fast, it wouldn't even just hurt my chest, but it was difficult to breathe at times. So why would anybody want to do that? Now growing up, I was a pretty good student. I consistently got A's and B's in my classes. However, there was one in particular that I dreaded going to every single day of my junior year, and that was speech communication. I tried to avoid it at all costs. I would not show up, I would ditch class. Even on my scheduled day to give speeches, I would pretend I was sick and ask to go to the nurse's office, just so I wouldn't have to be in front of my peers and get scared. It didn't even matter that half of the people in the classroom were actually my friends, and that on the other side of the wall, out in the hallway by the lockers, I could speak to them freely. But once you put me on the inside, where I'm standing in front of them like I am now, and all those eyes were on me, that nervousness would just set in, and I did not want to deal with it. It wasn't so much that just the eyes were on me, I physically felt them on me, kind of weighing me down, and I couldn't bear that weight on my shoulders. So on the rare instances I actually did deliver a speech, I put up a wall or a guard to redirect those eyes, which resulted in very poor speeches. So after a series of poor speeches / incomplete speeches, I was failing the class. And my teacher on the second to last day of school came up to me and said, "Vinny, I know you're a good student. I know you don't like giving speeches, but I want to offer you one last chance to pass. All I'm asking you to do is show up tomorrow and attempt a speech of your choosing. All you have to do is get up and try, and I will pass you." So you know what I did? I didn't show up. I didn't show up. I let my fears dictate my actions. Rather than try to overcome an obstacle, I didn't want to deal with it. I took the easy way out. Why did I want to experience those physical and mental symptoms if I didn't have to? So I pushed it to the side, thinking I'll deal with it later, and hopefully later would never ever come. And to this day, that is still the only class I've ever failed in my life. Now that I'm a little older, my friends are starting to get married, and it pains me to know that when I hear that news, the first thing that runs through my head is I hope I'm not the best man, because I don't want to give a speech. Now it just irritates me so much that that thought is dictating, trumping congratulatory happiness, which is what most people think of when they hear such good news like that. And I'm tired of letting my fears inhibit what I'm capable of doing or becoming as a person. Now I'll admit I was very resistant to joining Toastmasters only because I kept asking the question, why are people trying to force me to do something that I don't want to do? I mean, that's not very nice. I would never do it upon anybody else, so naturally I thought they would never do it upon me. But you know what I realized? It's not about picking on the weak or trying to be mean to anybody. It's about doing what's needed. And what's needed is it's time to face my fears. I don't want something so trivial as speaking inhibit me from becoming what I want to become. I mean, we all do it in our day-to-day lives. We talk to our friends, our family members, our coworkers. But why is it that when we're in a setting such as the office, our homes, a local bar, that when we speak there, it's pleasure? But when we have to speak in a setting such as a classroom or up on stage, it becomes a task. Well, I'm hoping Toastmasters can change my tasks into pleasures. As FDR once said, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And the last time I checked, public speaking was not fear itself. Mr. Toastmaster.
Wow, fantastic job. Thank you, Vinny. I think we can all relate. We've all been there. Our second, well, let's take a minute here to give Vinny some feedback.